Hey guys, welcome back to Team Death Slinger. My name is Peter, and today we're starting our BT21 deck profiles. We're looking at ChaosGallantmon. We are not going to be running Digimon in this deck. That will be a separate profile for what I think is best for that deck. We are looking at BT5 ChaosGallantmon as our top end. And to start with, we're looking at our eggs. 4 copies of the promo Digimon. On deletion, you may return 1 card with Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name from your trash to the hand. You're going to find that this deck fills the trash really quickly, not only by milling pieces, but by putting pieces from your own stack in the trash when you lose your stack. We don't mind not having a DP boost here. We're actually totally fine if the ChaosGallantmon dies on the swing. And this on deletion inheritable is just going to make sure we can grab pieces back to keep climbing the stack, getting to a position where we can finish the game with Crimson Mode Ace. So this egg is really important in this slot. We have 2 copies of BT5 Guilmon on deletion. If this card was deleted by an effect, you gain 1 memory. I like this because the new Guilmon only gains you a memory if it is an inheritable. That means we need Guilmon X underneath it, or we need a Growlmon on top of it. Sometimes you don't have the memory to make the Growlmon work. Sometimes you don't have the Guilmon X to get the memory back. This is a nice piece of insurance to make sure that if we play a body back with ChaosGallantmon from BT5, that it's actually something that can be deleted to gain us memory and keep momentum on our side, keep us filling in trash, and keep us evoing up the stack. We are going to run 3 copies of BT21 Guilmon. This is the new Guilmon we have that evos for 0 on a Digimon or 1 on a red or purple level 2. On play by trashing a card with Guilmon, Growlmon, Gallantmon, or Digimon in its name, or the hero trait from your hand, draw 2. So basically trash any card in our deck, draw 2. And the inheritable says on deletion, gain a memory. We really like this on play, drawing 2 cards, filling our trash. That's excellent in its own right. The inheritable to gain memory on deletion is also just kind of icing on the cake. It's great in our stack. It's great being played out by effects, and it's just a great piece all around. We are still on 1 copy of the EX4 Guilmon. On play, if the total number of cards in both players' trashes is 20 or more, this Digimon gains rush for the turn. Dead in our stack, awesome on the board. I have had this win me games before. Don't discount the 1-of. You will see it, and it is still very, very strong. And then we are going to run 4 copies of the EX8 Guilmon X Antibody. On play and when Digivolving, reveal top 3. Add a card with Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name and 1 X Antibody among them to the hand. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck. And the inheritable says when any of your opponent's Digimon are deleted, gain 1 memory. We are going to do a good bit of that, so great inheritable can net us more memory back. And the on play is great for searching here. The searching is actually really important because you'll see later why. We don't actually run X Antibody in this deck. We have plenty of ways to get Growlmon in name underneath the Growlmon X. And we are not running WarGrowlmon X. We'll talk about that when we get there as well. So this is just a great piece to search and find our pieces. So all around, great rookie lineup now. It's looking really, really good for ChaosGallantmon. Moving on to level 4, so we're on 2 copies of the new BT21 Growlmon on play, and when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4K or less. If this effect didn't delete, trash the top 2 cards of your deck. Really important note is that this does not trash from the opponent's deck, just yours, so you net 2 cards total instead of 4. That is something to keep in mind because the Crimson Mode Ace is going to care about the total cards in both players' trash. The inheritable on deletion will also gain us a memory, so when we lose a stack, we get some juice back in the tank to keep climbing. We are also going to run 4 copies of the EX3 Growlmon. When Digivolving, delete something with 3K or less. If nothing was deleted by this effect, both players trash the top 2 of their deck. And then when attacking, we can delete one of our other Digimon to have this Digimon gain sec +1 for the turn. I like this at 4 and this one at 2. This one, for the reason that it fills the trash faster. It has more aggro potential with that when attacking inheritable, which we are going to try to abuse as per usual with BT5 ChaosGallantmon. We have the ability to play back rookies when one of our Digimon is deleted. So that's just kind of a great setup for us to take advantage, get the sec +1, and get some aggression on the board. We are also going to run 4 copies of the EX8 Growlmon X. When Digivolving, draw 1, trash 1. Then if Growlmon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's sources until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon gains on deletion. Play 1 card with Guilmon in its name from your trash, not pay the cost. So this allows us to get in, swing, potentially float back into a Guilmon if it dies, cycles as pieces. Now that we have access to the new Growlmon and new Guilmon, this can also potentially gain us memory back when it dies, potentially 2, which is really great. And then it gains us memory back on the inherit as well. So fantastic at 4. Now, the level 5 lineup, you see there's no WarGrowlmon here. I think these 2, for BT5 ChaosGallantmon specifically, these 2 are absolutely necessary. They're really important, and quite frankly, in testing different ratios where I included WarGrowlmon X, it just did not feel good to not have access to one of these 2 cards when I needed it. So I opted for a 4-3 ratio here. 4 copies of the EX3 WarGrowlmon when Digivolving, trash top 3 of both players' deck, and then if a player has 5 or more, you play a Guilmon or Takato from hand or trash without paying its cost. Playing a Takato with this feels really, really strong with the new Takatos. Playing a Guilmon with this feels really good for the setup for BT5 ChaosGallantmon. So I just always felt like I wanted this in the early game. and I felt like I wanted the WarGrowlmon in the late game, or if there was something that I wanted to just get rid of on the opponent's board. This one, on play when Digivolving, trash the top 2 cards of your deck only, so fills trash slower, and then this Digimon gains Raid and Retell until your opponent's turn ends. When attacking, this Digimon may Digivolve into a card with the Megidramon or ChaosGallantmon in its name in the hand, and for every 10 cards total in both players' trashes, you reduce the cost by 1. Most of the time, I was using this when the cost was reducible by 2 or more. Didn't really pop it early, but that Raid Retell can be really, really crucial in stopping your opponent from doing something that you don't like. The On Deletion also trashes your opponent's top security card. That's going to be fantastic with the EX4 ChaosGallantmon. It's going to be really good with BT5 ChaosGallantmon if you swing in and you die on the check, because we don't have DP boost. It's actually totally fine. We get the On Deletion, we trash security, and you basically wind up getting 3 security worth of value off of that. So fantastic. Just subbing in Growlmon X anywhere here, you lose the consistency from trashing your opponent's top security. You lose consistency on your Raid Retell potential. And because this is trashing a security anyways, the Sec +1 doesn't really matter. I would rather have the security trashing over the Sec +1. Sure, the bounce protection is nice, and the DP deletion is also nice, but it costs 1 to Evo into. It felt clunky at times, and then I really felt pushed to run the X Antibody or the Protoform, and I just didn't like where they fit in the deck space-wise, and for the flow of finding cards, searching for things like that. So this is the ratio I opted for. I'm pretty happy with it, but I would advise you to try what you like. Moving on to level 6s, you can see we have quite a suite here. 1 copy of Medieval Gallantmon. Like I've talked about with ChaosGallantmon so many times, we play lots of bodies by effects. This is just fantastic. We get to farm value with this by playing Digimon by effects. We're going to get to remove opponents' bodies, and this can swing over potential targets, which makes this a really lethal piece of removal for us to have access to. And we can Crimson Mode Ace on top of it. That's just perfect. We are going to go 4 copies of our BT5 ChaosGallantmon. This is a 4-cost Evo. When Digivolving, delete one of your other Digimon to delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Great effect. And then your turn, once per turn, when one of your other Digimon is deleted, you can play a level 3 purple Digimon from your trash without paying its memory cost. On plays don't trigger. That's fine. We're going to try and abuse this. We are going to be running Calumon in this deck, in my version of the deck. So being able to get a level 5 back for free, great. The new Guilmon being deletable with this effect and then potentially giving you a memory back and you float into something else, also fantastic. We're just kind of making it work despite this not being BT5 anymore. We do have 2 copies of the EX4 ChaosGallantmon. Trash end of your turn by deleting one of your Digimon with Digivolution cards and Gallantmon in its name. You may play this card without paying the cost. And then on play, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 7k or less, and for every 10 cards in both players' trashes, you add 2k to the maximum DP-based effect this can delete. This card will be pretty good once you hit 20 cards total in both players' trashes. You actually get there pretty fast now, and we're going to be running analog Utes to try and help us get there. We are at 2, despite the effect being somewhat lackluster. We are at 2 because we want to consistently see this in our trash. We don't want it to just be a piece that we sometimes kind of use. We are going to be using this piece. We're going to be triggering the on deletion, gain of memory, and trashing an opponent's security. It's going to matter, so we want to make sure that we can see it when we need it. We're also just running 1 copy of the new promo Gallantmon. This outs a lot of things that the deck struggles to answer, things with 13k or more. You'll notice Crimson Mode, because we don't run Megidramon Ace, we are capped at that 15k deletion threshold. There's a lot of targets that this Gallantmon can hit that are really important for us to hit. Sometimes Medieval Gallantmon struggles to target them because you can't quite alliance to get big enough to crash something like 16k or larger. And that's where this Gallantmon really shines. It's going to pop something 13k or more. It has the cost reduction to help it get out there for usually paying something like 0. Actually, honestly, most of the times I played it. It has Rush and Blocker, and then on play when Digivolving, you pop something 13k or more, like we talked about. And if this does not delete, you get to recover 1. That's just kind of icing on the cake. If you choose to Evo into this, you can recover. If you plop it down, you probably won't if there's not a 13k target. But if you Evo into this, you get to recover 1. You get a Rush Blocker. Not bad. And then we do have for our level 7, the BT17 Crimson Mode Ace. You pop up to 15k total worth of your opponent's Digimon, and then when attacking for every 10 cards in both players' trashes, you trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. This is how we're winning. The way I play this deck and the way it plays most of the time is you are just breaking down your opponent's board, you're removing things. You'll notice you're not making too much progress on security unless there's a really ripe, juicy moment where you get in there for your 2 checks and you trash the security. But for the most part, you're deleting things, breaking things down, milling things, you're evoing back into the stack, just kind of burning through cards in both players' decks. And then eventually you'll hit a point where you can actually get into this Crimson Mode and you just swing and wipe their security. And your board will incrementally get larger because the BT5 ChaosGallantmon is playing you bodies back when you lose bodies. So you're kind of being able to build this big board where eventually you just get into Crimson Mode Ace and you're wiping their security and swinging out with whatever's left. It's just a really good game ender, and we need it to win. We are running, now that you see the rest of the deck, 3 copies of Calumon. Listen, I know some of you are probably thinking there are no trainings in this deck. That is correct. If you want to run trainings, go ahead. And I switched to Calumon, and I honestly like it a lot more. I think it fits. We were running it with BT5 ChaosGallantmon before, and it fit for the same reasons I'm running it now. Security, you get to play a Digimon with 2k or less from your hand without paying the cost. That's amazing. Main, by suspending this Digimon, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a card in the hand with the cost reduced by 2. That's really, really strong, especially considering ChaosGallantmon wants to be popping targets. This is a great target for us to delete because on deletion, it gets placed as your top security. So a lot of the times, a really strong turn 1 play that I have is Guilmon in the back, and then Calumon out front. And then you promote, you use the Calumon to get into your level 4. Sometimes you can get into the Growlmon X on top. If you get the EX3 Growlmon, you can swing with the Growlmon X. You pop the Calumon to get Sec +1. Calumon goes in security. You either get 2 really, really lucky checks and you're having a great time, or the Growlmon X dies and you get to float back into a Guilmon, and you get some value there. It's just good in the deck. It feels great. We have 2 copies of the Digimon I designed. While you have Takato, you can ignore the color requirements. Main, you draw 1, trash 1, then place this card in your battle area. Kind of part of the reason I don't feel super pressed to run the Wisdom trainings as well. While we lose the search potential on the Wisdom trainings, we have this to grab us pieces. You can see Analog Youth over there that grabs us pieces. And you did see the Guilmon X's that grab us pieces. We just have a lot of ways to fill our hand in this deck. I don't feel like I'm losing that much on not running the trainings. But then your turn, when effects delete Digimon, you delay one of your Digimon with Guilmon or Growlmon in its name may Digivolve into a card with Growlmon, Gallantmon, or Megidramon in its name in the trash without paying the cost. And then the security effect gains you a memory, then places this card in the battle area. This card is really, really disgusting with BT5 ChaosGallantmon. If you swing the ChaosGallantmon, well, first of all, if you Evo into ChaosGallantmon, you pop your level 3, you play level 3 back off of this effect, then you can pop the delay on the option to get that level 3 into a level 4. That's nasty, first of all. Second of all, you can swing with the EX3 Growlmon, pop a level 3, ChaosGallantmon plays back a level 3, and then you get to Evo into a level 4. That is also disgusting. So being able to farm free level 4s with this card and this delay effect is just kind of a gross combination, and it's really, really fun. For our Tamers, 3 copies of BT21 Takato Matsuki. Start of your main phase, if your opponent has the Digimon gain 1 memory. That's actually really, really clutch here. Because a lot of the time with ChaosGallantmon in the past, we'd be stuck starting our turn at 1 if we did not have a mem setter. And this is just a good way to make sure we have 2. We can always hit a champion, and that means we always have gas. And then all turns when any of your Digimon are played or Digivolve, by suspending this Tamer until your opponent's turn ends, one of your Digimon with Guilmon, Growlmon, Gallantmon, or Megidramon in its name, or the hero trait gains blocker, and if there are 10 or more total cards in both players' trashes, gets 2k DP. So that can bring ChaosGallantmon to 14k and give it blocker. Both are fantastic pieces of utility to have. Also, considering that we can get raid and retail on our ChaosGallantmon now we kind of have some keyword soup going. It's as if ChaosGallantmon had blocker, raid, retail, and 14k DP. Just kind of a really nice combination and makes the boss monster feel less dated and clunky. We are going to run 2 copies of BT19 Takato Matsuki. It is a mem setter, and when any of your Digimon Digivolve into a card with Growlmon or Gallantmon in name, by suspending this Tamer, that Digimon gains raid for the turn, and then that Digimon attacks a player. Super crucial for plays with this BT21 WarGrowlmon. If you Evo into it, you can then force the swing, and then use the, when attacking, to Evo into a level 6. Just kind of a great play to have. And then as the turn would pass, you could potentially trigger like an EX4 ChaosGallantmon in the trash, lose your ChaosGallantmon, and then you get to trash your opponent's top security. So it is value city. Lastly, 3 copies of Analog Youth from EX1 on play reveal top 3, adds a Digimon card to your hand, fills our trash, gets ChaosGallantmon in the trash, the EX4 version that we want to play from the trash, and then when a level 5 or higher Digimon with sources is deleted, you can suspend this Tamer to gain a memory, hatch an egg. That's going to be fantastic. Again, with this EX4 ChaosGallantmon, if we pop our stack, we are not only gaining memory from the Guilmon and the Growlmon now, we are gaining a memory for every single Analog Youth we have on the board, so you want to be plopping them down if you can. You can potentially get 3 or 4 memory back on losing this stack, and then you just get into this ChaosGallantmon and you have lots of gas in the tank to do silly things. So that is what I am doing in BT21 with ChaosGallantmon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What are you doing with this boss monster? Are you playing this, or are you playing Megidramon? I want to know which one you guys prefer in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.
Thank you to our channel members for supporting this channel. It's people like Langlong, Big Z11, Coffee Deus, and DigiDane who make videos like this possible.